Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. What a live show yesterday. That was insane. Now, most of you missed it. YouTube was playing their games again. I literally sat here waiting for the chat to load up from yesterday's show, which is kind of what I always do. I always watch the shows back for various reasons. Usually I'm reading in the chat to see if there's anything I missed. You know, sometimes this gives me direction for the following day show based on some of the stuff that you guys put in the chat. And so I'll watch the show back. I also critique myself to make the next day's show better. And so I was waiting for this chat to load up. And many of you who watched the show yesterday who weren't able to catch it live, you probably noticed there was no chat loading up. And that's a sign that YouTube's messing around with the upload. Typically, the chat will load up within 30 minutes of the live show. And yesterday, it took all the way until like 7 p.m. my time for the chat to load up. So I finally watched yesterday's show back again. And during that whole time, I was in the analytics of the video and it literally flatlined. And I'd never seen this happen before. It literally flatlined with 0 views for like 6 or 8 hours. Now, why was yesterday's show so important? Well, it was because I showed definitive proof that the Bush and Trump families, the forefathers of Bush and Trump, worked together. In the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, they were working together on pharmaceuticals and electrical wave technology, the very same things that are happening right now and happened under the Bush and Trump presidencies. Now, the implications of this are chilling. They are chilling because it demonstrates an overreaching conspiracy that the very men working on today's technologies back then knew the future. They knew their ancestors, or they knew that their progenitors would become presidents and use the very technology that they were working on. That's the only explanation for it. So this kind of information only is effective if millions of people see it. If nobody sees the videos, then it's a big waste of time. So I featured yesterday's live show on the front of the YouTube channel here. So be sure and watch it. It will play automatically if you go to my channel page, and we'll hopefully get the views up on this. This needs to be one of our top videos here. On the left, John Trump, Trump's uncle, was working on X-rays, microwaves, which is millimeter waves, 5G technology, radar, and death rays. In the middle, Vannevar Bush, who actually John Trump studied under. Vannevar Bush of the Bush family. Vannevar Bush he was actually the chairman of the board of Merck Pharmaceuticals back then, in the 1940s and 50s. And all of these guys were involved with Brookhaven National Laboratories, building Van de Graaff machines under the HVEC company, the High Voltage Engineering Company, of which John Trump Robinson, I'm sorry, I think I misspoke earlier. It was Robinson of HVEC who worked under Vannevar Bush, not John Trump. It was Robinson. So it was Robinson, Van de Graaff, and John Trump started the HVEC company, and they built the tandem Van de Graaff machines for Brookhaven National Laboratory, whose zip code encodes the opening and the closing, the opening and destruction of the Twin Towers. And this is why they tried to hide yesterday's video, but we won't let them hide it, will we? So this shows a connection between the pharmaceuticals as well as the microwaves and millimeter waves. Now, just a really quick summary before we get into the rest of today's show. Understand that all of these waves are just simply energy sources modulated to different frequencies. That's all this is, to simplify all this. X-rays, microwaves, millimeter waves, radar, death, they're all the same thing. They're just modulated to certain power sources, power levels, and frequencies. And I believe that somewhere in here, they found the frequency of death to make people sick. And then look, you go, what would be the purpose of making people sick? Well, so you could profit off of it, which is why Vannevar Bush was the chairman of the board for Merck Pharmaceuticals, who is now, by the way, developing an mRNA technology, and actually they already have, for chicken smack scenes. Innovax. This is why yesterday's show was censored. So you could do your part. If there was ever a video for you to share, it would be yesterday's show. Definitive proof. I show in black and white from MIT's website all the stuff they were working on and the connection between the Bush families and the Trump families. Groundbreaking information. Now, before we get into the TV series called Paradise, which was why you guys clicked on today's live show, check out these Trump Jedi trading cards on eBay. Now, I don't know whose trading card company this is, but we had just did a whole video on the Jedi, didn't we? Because one of you realized that the word Jedi means goat in Hebrew when you spell it Gedi. And never forget, 555 is 666. And so each one of these cards is either $5 or $6. Here's one of Jedi Trump, 47, $6. Here's another one. Donald Trump, Jedi Trump. So Trump Jedi confirmed. 555 is 666. Now, if you don't know why that is, it's because Vav, which sounds like 555, means 666. It's the monster logo. But also, when you convert inches to feet, the Washington Monument is 555, but it's also 6,666 inches or something like that. And that's another reason why 555 is 666. It's the conversion of the actual Washington Monument of our country. And that's old news, but that's just a refresher on why 555 is 666. There's actually a song by Slipknot, 555 is 666. So now let me check in with you guys and really get into this Paradise TV series. Now it's interesting because the show Paradise basically depicts how easily the enemy uses fear to keep massive secrets. You know, the controllers always try to discredit people like us by saying, oh, who could possibly keep a secret that big? No one could keep a secret that big. You guys are just conspiracy theorists, right? Well, in this case, they demonstrate how easily that can actually happen. The show is about a massive underground base. It's inside of a mountain in Colorado, and it holds roughly 30,000 essential personnel after the end of the world. Essential personnel and billionaires. And they're all inside this void inside the mountain, complete with a firmament, an artificial sun, artificial insect sounds, and birds. The story follows an unequipped president who's kind of thrown in the situation. He's in the elite club. His family's rich, but he doesn't really, they put him in there because he's kind of dumb. And they know they can manipulate him. But then he rises to the occasion to expose the lie. Now, this president, his high school jersey is number 47. Which, of course, is Trump's second term, President 47. So they're obviously depicting Trump in this scenario. And the president presides over the last presidency. It's literally the last presidency before the world ends. So Trump has called himself the last president as well. There's lots and lots of parallels. And the base is in a secret location in Colorado. Then at some point, the president is assassinated. And the entire show is about his most trusted Secret Service agent who's trying to solve his murder. And it's actually a pretty entertaining show. So you got to ask yourself, is this what Trump meant when he said that Christians would not have to vote ever again if they voted for him this last time? Does Trump know that Armageddon is coming? Does he know that he will be the last president? Why would he say that? Let's dive in, you guys. I have some screenshots for you from the TV series Paradise. Let's take a look.
It's still amazing to me how resilient.
So this is what they call, what is it called? Versailles. The code word for this project is called Versailles. And here you see they're inside of a mountain. And there's this false sky projected onto the ceiling. And then up here you see there's a track. And this track here is the only indication that they're inside of a dome, because the artificial sun rides along this track. There's the artificial sun. Is basically a giant lamp. Now, of course, I believe that the sun is much closer than we're told. We've had this discussion many times, because I believe the Earth is stationary, with the sun and moon rotating above the plane. And this seems to line up with the depiction of the sun in the series. It's not that far away. It's literally just above, anything that flies, essentially.
The warmth of the sun, the real sun.
So there's the apparatus that's called the sun. It's the artificial sun. Now later in the series, they bring in the Antarctica aspect. And it's essentially the cause of the extinction event that happens. But I believe the true purpose of bringing in the Antarctica aspect is that they're revealing the actual foundation of the firmament that surrounds the dome, surrounds the firmament. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the show today.
This isn't spring break. We need somber.
Copy that.
Tower? This is Ava with Event Logistics. Is there any way we can bring in some cloud cover?
Let's try this one.
There you go.
Thank you.
You think someone bugged your office?
They recorded every insect they could find. Thousands of hours, day, night, dust.
Dr. Sinatra and the Billionaires.
Sounds like a rock band, doesn't it?
So this guy is the Secret Service agent who is guarding the president. President dies on his watch, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, who killed him, and all this stuff. And it's this entire populace of millionaires and billionaires lives in the dome, waiting to go back out into the world. Now, they're all led secretly. The true person in power, and this is chilling, you guys, because it's actually happening now. The true person in power is not the president or any of the Congress or any of that they have in place in this government here. It's actually a lady by the name of Sinatra. And she is the textbook feminist. She uses manipulation, threats, and coercion to control everybody. And everyone's afraid of her. And her name is Sinatra. And she pretty much does whatever she wants. She has people murdered. It's crazy. And it's all under the guise of keeping the peace. There's faked deaths, assassinations, any means necessary to maintain order. And Sinatra is a billionaire. She's like the richest woman on the planet, and she's the one that controls everything. This has always been the danger of an oligarchy, because oligarchies surpass governments. They surpass government structures, don't they? Because it's all about money. Whoever has the money makes the rules. So when you allow an oligarchy, those are the true people in power and control, because they can pay off anybody, right? This is why we have senators and people in government who are worth millions of dollars, even though their supposed income is only like $200,000 a year. You can't even make that much money honestly without being an insider into things you're not supposed to know about, insider trading and things like this. Knowing what to bet on. Now, this isn't just about Trump. This is the Democrats too. They're the most corrupt of them all, but they're all kind of equally corrupt. Because here on our level, we think that government is a certain way and that it's not influenced by money, but it absolutely is. And that's demonstrated and depicted in this TV series. Let's keep watching here.
He hunkers down in his mansion playing Pebble Beach in a golf simulator while a bunch of gazillionaires stick their hands up his ass to make his mouth move.
Jeremy?
Now, this guy is the president, and most of it's flashbacks because he's actually killed in the beginning of the series. Everything else is flashbacks in his journey to maturity and being able to help the people under the dome to see the lie for what it is before he's killed. And then that brings us to the cause of the extinction event. Now, they say in the TV series, it's funny, you know, these people then won't stop this global warming nonsense. They say that it was because of global warming that the Antarctic ice sheet melted just enough to allow pressure to build up under a supervolcano, which caused a massive chunk of ice to fall into the ocean, creating a 300-foot tsunami that wipes out all the coasts in the world. This is followed by a nuclear war as countries fight for the last remaining resources. I mean, it's ridiculous. It sounds like, oh, the towers fell due to intense pressure created melting point of steel, which caused it to fall with its own footprint. And this was the excuse we were given like literal minutes after it happened. It was like a script was set around of nonsense. So it's the same thing here. And look at this. Here's a map that they show of all these Antarctic volcanoes. Let's zoom in on this a little bit because we can kind of see this. This is the map they show. That's Antarctica, of course. Sites of some of the 91 volcanoes discovered. Let's read this. It says, obviously, this has worrying implications for the climate crisis because if even one of these baby volcanoes erupted beneath the ice sheet, it would release magma and speed the effects of anthropogenic melting, which could trigger many, many other smaller volcanoes to erupt in quick succession. We can bring in an expert to model how much ice would melt, how quickly. But what if the supervolcano were to erupt? The consequences for the planet's biosphere and humanity's survival would be similar to that of an asteroid strike, and the devastation would come in waves. First and foremost, the eruption would certainly trigger a tsunami. There's no way to predict exactly the size, speed, and direction. We can bring an expert to model blah, 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 blah. So you see what's going on here? They're bringing in the aspect of the Antarctica, but really what they're really saying here is they're talking about where the ice wall is, the edge of the firmament. Let's keep watching here. Now, if you think this through on a critical thinking level, you'll realize that there's a reason why no one's allowed in Antarctica. It has to be the barrier. I believe that all GPS systems have been artificially modified to maintain the lie. It's built right into the electronics and the data.
Here's what we do know, right? Erupted under the Antarctic ice sheet, expelling millions of tons of ash into the atmosphere. Now, just over 3 hours ago, what scientists are calling a massive mega caldera or super volcano and triggering a tsunami that is hurtling northward at nearly 600 miles an hour. Most disturbing, the force of the explosion shattered large portions of the ice shelf, instantly melting trillions of gallons of water.
So this is Sinatra, and she is the evil controller behind the scenes, the evil billionaire. And so as the Secret Service guy begins to close in on the evil Sinatra, he's able to project a warning to the populace on the inside of the firmament, which essentially is like Project Bluebeam, except it's red. Watch. They're lying to you. So she starts to lose control, but she's got so many trump cards that she plays throughout the series that no one can ever pin her down.
She's pulling the strings, and the other billionaires are marching in step. And
they literally just keep saying billionaire. Like, remember, this script was written and acted out before Trump even won the presidency. Let me say that again. This script was written, filmed, and acted out before Trump ever even won. But yet, the storyline is exactly what we're living right now.
the other billionaires are marching in step. But that ends now. I'm going to be the man in charge when the world ends.
Now, again, this guy's the president, and I'm kicking myself because they showed his jersey on the wall like several times, but I did not screen capture it. But needless to say, his number on his jersey was number 47. Now, this actor, his real birthday is 96 days from Trump's birthday. 96 is the yin and yang number, isn't it? Which essentially means that this actor is playing the Trump role. Now, at this point, the Secret Service forces Sinatra's hand to make her reset the sun. Watch.
It's coming back on.
Had an idea to create a switch.
Now, then the show flashes back just before the extinction event, and the president, which you just saw there, he decides he's going to EMP the entire Earth. Now, all of his political advisors, they tell him just go ahead and send the nukes because Russia has already launched nukes. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to send the nukes. I'm going to EMP the entire Earth, which in theory should basically disable all the nuclear weapons before they hit, because he wants to give the world a chance to survive. So understand that at some point we are going to have to go through a temporary power outage, an EMP. They will do that at some point. There's too much predictive programming. So just be ready for when it happens. They won't leave the lights off long because they need to continue to program us, right? But they'll leave the lights off long enough so that essentially they can scare everybody and create as much chaos as possible. That will be the point of it, to bring humanity to our knees. Okay. This is why they had Biden go after, gas and all this stuff, natural gas, because they were successful in scaring people into getting off of natural gas. So a lot of people went out and bought electric appliances because when they turn the lights out, they don't want you to have any backup plan whatsoever. They want you to be dependent on them and living in fear. In fact, they want enough chaos to where people will start raiding people's houses. They could leave the lights off for maybe a week or 2 weeks, but then they'll need to turn them back on to program you and get you to fall in line with whatever it is that they want you to do. They'll say that they'll blame it on a different country. They'll blame it on China or Russia. Okay, so this is coming. Let's keep watching here.
Had an idea to create a switch in satellites,
Submarines, missiles, you name it. That would fry every electronic circuit on Earth. An ultimate failsafe. A linked array of global EMPs.
Also disable the nukes. Maybe even in midair.
Microwaves, computers, even its own satellites.
Now, at this point, we get this bizarre Greenland clue. As the president, he's trying to give the plane enough time to land before he hits the EMP button. But, you know, these missiles are coming over from Russia already toward the United States. And here we see Greenland, right here. Now, there will be an eclipse in a few weeks. On my birthday, actually, the 88th day of the year. And it will pass right over this area right here. Greenland. The Greenland eclipse. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't date set on this channel. But we take notice of some of these key events. Sometimes things happen on dates and sometimes they don't. But here you see the missiles coming over the horizon here from Russia over the Arctic Circle. This is insane. And he goes to hit the EMP button. It's a blue button. And he hits it just in time. And most of the nukes are disabled from the EMP. And that's pretty much the end of the series. Now, there's some spoilers that I'm not going to give away, but I wanted to end the show today to have an unrelated discussion about the image of the beast, something that was impressed upon me to talk about to you guys. And this fits in somehow to all this. Man was made in God's image. And we know that the enemy tries to replace God in every way, doesn't he? So he could be like the Most High. So he can masquerade as God. So what if, instead of man being made in God's image, the devil is trying to make man in his image? And what if that image is the image of the beast? Hence, the book of Revelation talking about the image of the beast instead of the image of God, the image of the beast. And what would that image be? What would the image of the beast be? Well, it would be something that the devil makes that looks human. Wouldn't it? It will look human, but it won't be human. And about the only thing that I can think of that will very soon look human, but won't be human, that people will worship, is an android. Yes, artificial intelligence in an android that looks human, but isn't. Now, they use gradualism, so the androids we have now, they don't really look human, do they? Some of them look somewhat close, but we have not yet seen an actual android that looks completely human. We probably have, but we just don't know it. Right? There are probably some that are androids, but we just don't know it. Now, a good indication of this and a good example of this is Saturday Night Live just uploaded a skit making fun of Trump and Zelensky in the Oval Office. And it's actually really, really funny. If you want to belly laugh, take a look at that with Mike Myers and all this. But it's very telling because Mike Myers makes fun of Elon Musk by saying that he's glitching out, and he does the whole eye roll thing. And it's just chilling. It's literally chilling because it suggests that some among us are not human. So that's going to be interesting. Now, tomorrow's show, you're not going to want to miss either. I watched the first 20 minutes of the new Marvel movie, Kraven the Hunter. Now, the movie was so dumb, I only got through the first 20 minutes, but I'm glad I stuck it out for that long. Because I found Gene Hackman's name on this helicopter. This is a screenshot from the movie. Gene Hackman right there in the helicopter numbers. Well, the problem is this film released 66 days before Gene Hackman was found dead. Actually, before he died, 66 days, because they've now estimated his time of death as February 17th. So I took the date of the release of this film into the February 17th, and it was 66 days. Now, there are many other ways that Gene Hackman relates to this film, because this film's all about hacking genes. It's all about chimerism. So that will be tomorrow's show. You're not going to want to miss that. And please, please, if you missed yesterday's show, please go back and watch it. It is one of the most important shows we've ever done. I was disappointed that it got about half the views, but I showed definitive proof of the Bush and Trump families working together during the age of radar and developing the foundation of what we know today as pharmaceuticals through the Merck company. It is very important. My feeling is that due to national security, they probably quieted that video. They do not want people to know that all these families were working together. They do not, because your entire understanding of politics would be changed forever. It is truly a video that can actually help wake people up to the conspiracy. Now, interestingly, one of you in the comments of that video from yesterday said that you had come to similar conclusions based on your research. So now we have two witnesses, independent of each other, who researched and dug into all this stuff and saw the connections, the very same connections that I found. So that's pretty amazing. So, all right, I'm in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Robert said he watched it twice because he couldn't believe what he was watching. Yep. It was a very powerful video yesterday. It was all in black and white. We were on the MIT website reading history. They were talking about death rays. I literally heard someone other than Tesla, because remember, most people only think that Tesla was the only one talking about death rays. No, this was a main push during World War II to develop a death ray to fight the Nazis. So, this is real stuff. NASA's Satan, Sergio. So, obviously, you know, this is what I understand. People follow the channel, comment every single day, and we're showing these concepts, and then they bust out with that kind of nonsense. You had to stop watching because of my hate for NASA? Then you're not a real person, because we've been showing you the NASA lies since the beginning. So why do you follow the channel if I keep talking about that stuff? You should probably go to the NASA channel if you want to watch fake videos of moon landings and all that stuff. This is not the channel for you. And that's what you call an artificial intelligence comment to try to sway people away from pretty profound information proving all this stuff. Yeah, not a real person. Now, this is crazy because this stuff is all over this channel. People that are pretend to be long-term followers. And then when the most profound information comes out, the AI will leave a comment to seed doubt. I've never seen anything like it. So, wow. It's weird to see the AI freak out like this. They won't delete us. They won't pull down videos because that's an admission that what we're saying is true. But they'll use these tactics to come at us from different angles. They'll speak through channels that have been following the channel for a long time to see doubt. Oh, you turned the video off because of my hate for NASA. That doesn't even make any sense to me at this point. Like, mind blown. And it's weird. They'll leave comments every single video so that people see and recognize the name. But then when you go to the channel, there's nothing there. It's almost like they're creating some kind of reputation on the channel. And then at the exact point that they need to strike, the demon comes out from within them to try to discredit the information. So, all right. Well, what else is going on, you guys? Oh, someone's having difficulty watching the live show. Yeah, that happens too. Yeah, the truth is, it's pretty eye-opening, isn't it? It's pretty eye-opening. I'm just reading the chat here. Earthquake in our town on Saturday, 4.4, says Andre. Oh, I need to watch Zero Day as well. I'll probably start that like today or tomorrow, and I'll try to get through that series. April said she could confirm the same findings. From yesterday. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and see you guys tomorrow with Craven the Hunter. Much love, everybody. Take care.